Hello, everyone. I'm Don Pratt, host of a show here on Rogers TV that gives you a perspective of policing your community. Welcome to Policing York Region. You know, something we all look forward to this time of year is when our youth start engaging YRP again. And to help chat about that, we have YRP Engagement Officer, Marina Arlovsky. Welcome to the show, Marina.
Good morning, Don. How are you today?
Absolutely amazing. And should I say more affectionately known as Officer Mo?
Yes, Officer Mo is how I am known around town here. So Officer Mo is great.
So, you know, we just ahead of the show, we were chatting that this isn't our first rodeo. You and I have had some great opportunities to chat, both off air and on. And, you know, I always learn a little bit more about you, but the realization is maybe our viewers haven't. So who is Officer Mo? And where did Officer Mo come from?
So Mo is actually a nickname that my dad gave me because it's my initials, Marina Arlovsky.
Okay.
So M-O. So my dad actually gave that to me years ago. And coming into community services and working with young children, Officer Mo was a lot easier than Officer Arlovsky or Constable Arlovsky. It can be a bit of a mouthful, even for me this early in the day. So Officer Mo came along and it just really fit, and it's been really easy for the kids to remember. And it's lovely to hear that, you know, even when I'm not working, I hear Officer Mo at the Walmart and you know, Giant Tiger and at the park and places like that. So the kids really hang on to that handle.
And it actually kind of brings into something we'll be talking to later on in the show, as it kind of brings it down to earth and brings you into the school, into like a classroom level, right? Like a classroom conversation, as opposed to the, you know, the scary blue uniform coming in.
Yes. So we're trying, you know, with COVID and with trying to keep social distancing in mind and things like that, we found other ways to deal and engage with the youth in our communities.
Sure.
Specifically up here in the Georgina area. I've been up here doing the youth engagement position for about 4 years now. You know, our focus is on engaging with youth, educating youth, talk to them about, you know, whatever kinds of things are sort of going on. You know, the kids at the skateboard park, you stop by there and they've always got something to say and something that they want to ask you about. And it's great just to engage in those conversations. And as I say, with COVID, you know, we've really been able to come up with other ways to engage with them. We have done some virtual, you know, activities with kids.
Right.
We've done some camps. As you know, we have our wonderful community safety village down in Stouffville, which with COVID, you know, we haven't really been able to do a lot of in-person camps. So we've been able to do some virtual camps. I was lucky enough a couple of weeks ago to be part of a camp called Like Me First, which was
what was it? Like Me First?
Yes, Like Me First.
Okay.
Which was a great opportunity to get in touch with some of our young girls in York Region. And, you know, me being a girl, I get it. Sometimes there are some struggles that we have, you know, with bullying and, you know, just with growing up and changing, you know, it's a lot to take on. And it was a great week with some presenters. We had some presentations. We had some fun things that we did, and really just keying in on, you know, what these girls need to make sure that they like themselves first, like me first. So that was really an excellent week. We're hoping to run that camp again. We've also had youth academies. We had different academies throughout the year, Seniors Academy, you know, all kinds of different ones that we've had. They're usually evening sessions that we've had at the village, but we did a youth academy virtually. There again, lots of presenters, lots of things to talk about. So we've really taken the virtual world and embraced it as far as how to engage with our youth in different ways. So we've really enjoyed doing, you know, some of those camps, some presentations, you know, even with parents, church groups, youth groups, any type of group that is out there that is able to get a screen in front of them.
Absolutely.
We are able to do any type of presentation that they would like. We have a variety of topics that we can discuss.
Yeah, and that's something that YRP has always been good at. This is something I can acknowledge as a community member is those areas. Whether we're talking about youth in our community or seniors or crime prevention, one thing that YRP is outstanding at is welcoming. Hey, if you want to hear what YRP has to say, they will come out. And I suppose, okay, come out. Today is perhaps a little bit different, but both before, during, and since COVID, YRP is always willing to give those presentations, aren't they?
Absolutely. We've also been running a great initiative over this summer. It's a bike and foot patrol initiative.
Oh,
so
okay.
We've been going out into the community. We have many officers that are trained and are able to ride our bicycles, not motorbikes, bicycles. So they will go into different areas of York Region. They've come up here, obviously, because it's so beautiful to ride your bike around the lake.
Of course.
They will go into different areas. Obviously, we have 5 districts in York Region, so they will travel around on the bicycles. It's a great way to spend some time with youth, riding with them along the trails, stopping and talking to them about bicycle safety, and the foot patrol part of that as well. I mean, up here, it's great to walk along High Street and chat with people, go into De La Salle Park. It's been quite busy this summer. Willow Beach, some of the other areas that we have here in Georgina that are visited not only by our residents, but by people who live outside of Georgina and who may also live outside of York. And it's great to be able to, obviously, as we say, social distancing, wearing our masks.
Oh, yeah.
But it's great just to see people outside this summer and spending some time in our community and enjoying all the things that we have to offer. So that's something that we've been doing all summer long. We've really enjoyed it. And it's been a great way to engage with not just youth, but all the members of our community.
It's funny, as I'm listening to you, just giving your side of things, one of the words that I hear the most is engage. And that's of course, as you know, that's the main premise of the show is community engagement. And we do see that. You were talking about the book, the bike and foot patrol. It's amazing how much more approachable and personable that seems, right?
Yes. People don't always, they see officers on motorcycles. And we do obviously have officers out on that type of transportation as well. But when they see the bicycle, especially young kids, they're like, wow, officers ride bicycles. And it just kind of has that, feeling of camaraderie, and they have something in common. And it does actually make us a little bit more approachable, because we, then we have that, opportunity at that point to discuss bicycle safety, which is very important. And we have a chance to, spend more time with the kids outside, and they get to know us and we get to know them. And it's an excellent opportunity for us to do that.
You mentioned bicycle safety, just like any of the other messaging, COVID hasn't stopped those messages. The messages are still the same. Perhaps the delivery, as you said, is somewhat different. But it's still very much needed, particularly with our youth. Is there, I live in a residential community in Georgina. I see bikes, youth out on their bikes all the time, and you can see who has had some bicycle education and who hasn't, right?
Yes. Helmets are a big thing. I can't stress enough how important it is for anyone of any age who is riding a bicycle to wear a helmet. It could save you from injury, and they can also look pretty cool. You can get little, fins and shark tails and things that you can put on your helmet.
Oh yeah.
And it won't hurt it anyway from saving you, but it will, really could potentially be that life-saving thing that you could have on, just like a seatbelt. It can, really, cause you to be a little bit safer than to maybe have some injuries that you may suffer if you were to fall off your bike. So a helmet is really good. And we all wear helmets when we're out riding, and we love to talk to the kids about that sort of thing.
Yeah, and that, leading by example, right? So if you ever see a York Regional Police officer out on their bicycle, you're right. They're always donning their helmets.
Yes.
No, I'm not going to portray what the laws are, but I think youth have to wear helmets. Is that?
My understanding is that they well, and you know what, have to or not have to, they should.
Yeah. Oh, everyone should. I totally agree.
That's really the word that I want to use
Yeah.
there, is that they should be wearing them.
Yeah.
And adults, as you say, we can all lead by example.
Yes.
If you're riding around with your kids, if you see an officer riding around and they've got a helmet on, it really does clue into them that, hey, if they're being safe, I should probably be safe too. So it's really something that they should be doing for their own safety and the safety of others.
Yeah, it was just a comment that it still resonates with me. And this was when I very first started volunteering, which was more than a couple of years ago, at a community event where officers were riding around the park or the function that we were at on their bicycles, and a youth came up to them, and the officer was very, very cordial and complimenting them on their bicycle helmet, and the young girl looked up and says, "But I didn't think you had to wear a helmet." And the officer very, very quickly responded, "Everyone should wear a helmet." And I absolutely agree. If we go out, we wear a helmet. It just, like you said, protect yourself, right?
Absolutely. And it is, one of those modes of transportation that a lot of young people around here have. If you're not old enough to drive, even if you are old enough to drive, you may not have access to a car. Bicycle is a fairly economical way for them to get around. And I see, kids quite often out on their bikes. And like I say, I have a bike. I love to ride around my neighborhood.
Sure.
And it is just quite a lovely way to see, the beautiful areas that we have up here in Georgina.
Absolutely. Marina, on that note, we've just about wrapped up this segment. I'm going to see you right back here in just a few minutes. Folks, we'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, as we continue our conversation with Officer Mo and engaging our youth through YRP in our region. Officer Mo, thanks again for coming back. And, before we were talking about, we were kind of all over the place, but, with youth engagement and youth academies and camps, where do you want to go from there?
Well, we've been able to engage, as I was saying, virtually, but we've actually been able to attend some camps over the summer. Jericho, as we know, is one of those great community partners that we have up here in Georgina. They were able to run some in-person camps this summer. So I've had a chance to stop by there, and they're again engaging with children of all ages. Around the elementary age, they're kind of 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. And it's great to engage with them. They're looking forward to, things that are to come. And we've had a chance at camp to talk about some of those things. And one of them really is bus safety, traffic safety in general.
Absolutely.
Any time of the year, we can look around our community and see those, big yellow buses. Yes. And, transporting children safely from one place to another. Yeah. And just a reminder, to everyone out there that, when you see that bus, pay attention to those signals. Yes. Be mindful of what's happening around you. And for the kids as well, when they're going to and from, making eye contact with people when you're crossing somewhere, especially if there's a car, make sure that that car sees you and you see them, getting off your bicycle, walking across the crosswalk. Those types of things in general are very good to remember as you are going to and from during your day.
No, absolutely. And, I know with bus safety, I get it. There's lots of rules around it and what have you, but we've all been brought up with those rules. Nothing's really changed. The most common, the best way to look at it, common sense. Exercise caution, right? You're dealing with youngsters. They're excited. They're not likely 100% attentive to what they're doing right now at that moment. So exercise a bit of caution around them, right? Enough is fair enough.
Yeah, absolutely. They can get a little bit excited about where they're going or where they're coming from. They're excited to, get to where they're going to do their activity. And at the end of the day, they're excited to go home and tell everybody what they've done. So it is, that extra bit of caution is great to have on everybody's mind as we move forward.
And something that we've noticed in our own neighborhood over the years is that's year round. Buses are out there. As you said, camps are running every much as anything else is, right?
Yes, there are summer schools that run. There are education programs. There are camps. There are lots of reasons to see those buses on the road 12 months of the year. Absolutely. And it is something that we should always be paying attention to and be mindful of. No matter who is on that bus, could be adults on the bus, could be seniors on a bus. And it's really, just that piece, like you say, just looking out for and being very mindful of what's happening around you.
Yeah, absolutely. Keeping everybody safe, right? It's a pretty simple message.
For sure. Absolutely.
But then talking about community partners, this is something you and I talk about all the time. Jericho, we've mentioned it many times, is obviously they're a huge partner, but there's also other areas in the community, right?
Yes, absolutely. We, all across the region, we do have many community partners that we work with. Obviously living in Georgina and working in Georgina, I love to talk about our community partners.
It's nice to play in your own backyard, isn't it?
Own community partners. I know we share them with the whole community, but I love to think that they're mine. We have some really great organizations, as I say, all across the region. We do a lot, here with Salvation Army. They do a lot for kids in our area. We just had, we had a day at the village last week where we were working with 360 Kids. 360 Kids is an excellent organization that has a lot of programs available for youth of any age. We're kind of talking a little bit more about the older youth. We're getting sort of into teenage years. But I can tell you that the program that we ran, assisted them with last week at the village was absolutely incredible. Lots of different education pieces, lots of officers around. And that's one of those opportunities that we get to be out of uniform. And, we get to relate to them on a different level. And that's something that we enjoy doing as well. All the kids in my neighborhood know me as Officer Mo. And, it's funny, I'll be riding my bike or walking my dog and the kids don't know me as anything different, regardless of I'm in shorts and a t-shirt or I'm in my uniform. That's how they identify with me. And that means a lot to me as an officer. That the kids do recognize that we're people too. We have, regular lives. We go shopping, we walk our dogs, we water our lawn, we do those things. So, part of living in this community as well is making those relationships and those connections with the kids up here on so many different levels. And our community partners is one great way that we can do that. Some of the programs that we have run here, GTTI, has amazing programs as well. We've worked with them in the past. A lot of things going on at the link. They have some great programs in there. They're again for everybody of all ages, not just youth, but we've been able to use the link facilities and be part of some of the programs that they have there, and it's been wonderful. And in that vein, we have the ability. Especially now we have this other outlet with Zoom and all these other web platforms, virtual platforms. We have that opportunity to reach out to, maybe even more people than we would be if we're on our bike and foot patrol. Yes, we can talk to a lot of people. We see a lot of people, but there's still that opportunity for us to use these virtual programs to get groups together. If it's, as I mentioned very briefly at the beginning of the show, if there is a community group, a church group, a neighborhood group, a group of parents that are chatting on the porch and they're saying, hey, my kid's got this bullying thing, or they're on this web platform, or what's happening with this, they're more than welcome to reach out to us. If it's not here in Georgina, as I say, there are officers such as myself, youth engagement officers that work all across York Region. It's as easy as sending us an email. info@yrp.ca is
Perfect.
an
Thank you.
excellent way to reach community services, which is the unit that I belong to.
Yes.
Just request what it is that you're looking for. They'll filter it down to an
Sure.
officer, and we can talk about what kind of presentation you would like, and we'd be more than happy to set something up with any of our community members.
Yeah, so info@yrp.ca, you said
Yes.
is the email. And, I always like to remind the viewers too that the webpage yrp.ca is fantastic as well for resources. It's very well laid out. If I can navigate it, they did a good job laying
Excellent.
it out.
Good.
When we were talking about, we've gone back to it a couple of times about, particularly in your role and some of the other officers too, being out of uniform. It's great to see that mix. I mean, there's always, and we would never want to take away from it. There's always, obviously, we have enforcement for a reason, and we need to recognize that and recognize why it's there and who does that enforcement. But to know that these are actual people. I've seen it in a classroom. I've watched you and your colleagues walk into a classroom, both in and out of uniform, and they are so receptive, so open, and it just makes that whole community engagement piece flow so much easier, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. It really does. It makes us more of a community member. Excuse me. Even if we don't live in the community that we work, I thankfully do live in the community that I work, but it's great that they can see us. As I say, I go into the Walmart and I'll hear, 3 rows over, "Mom, it's Officer Mo." And, then that way I get to meet the parents, I get to say hello. And they will say, "Oh, my child was talking about, something that they may have been engaged with you in the community." And it's just a great opportunity to make those connections.
Yeah, one thing that I'm reminded of, even from our own youth, is you knew the officers that were approachable, right? Policing has changed over the years. Don't get me wrong; it has to some degree, but you've always known who's approachable, and your role and as I say, and your colleagues, that really does make it easier for the youth. It gets them to understand basically that the police are there and they're on your side, right?
Yes, absolutely. And, for whatever anybody needs, really. And then that just goes from general policing. We are community members. We are here to serve our community. And whatever it is that someone may need, and it runs the gamut, here we are. And being that youth engagement officer, we are concentrated on our youth in our communities, really engaging with them, connecting with them, providing for them any, whether it be education, an answer to a question, hang out at the skateboard park. I'm not good on a skateboard, but you know what? I'll give it a whirl. You might see me, in a cast one day. That's fine. I'll have a great story. But it just, it really brings you into that community spirit, and another way for the youth to see you and to understand you as not only a police officer, but as a person.
Yes. And, we mentioned earlier in the show that obviously we're really talking around 3 districts, because that's the conversation that we're having today. But you have school, you have these officers in all areas of the region.
Yes.
In all districts.
Yes. There are youth engagement officers in each of our 5 districts.
Right.
Markham, Richmond Hill, Newmarket and Vaughan, and myself up here.
Right.
We have those officers across the region that work in community services, specifically in the youth engagement role. And that's comes with all the things that we've been doing these past few months, bike and foot patrol, doing presentations, doing the virtual camps, trying to go to in-person camps wherever we can.
Yes.
It's just, everybody says, oh, COVID, made everybody, deal with these little boxes and these screens. But for us, honestly, it really has opened us up to do a bit more than, inviting people to a community room in a police station. We're able to, invite them into this platform, and we can have, 50 people, 100 people. It doesn't matter. We can fit them all in. Got the space on the screen. So that in itself has really opened it up for us to be able to reach a lot more people and a lot more youth that way. Community groups, guides, brownies, scouts, Any group like that, we've done presentations to them, and it's great to talk to the youth about the things that they're doing in our community as well, because we do have a lot of youth generated community groups, and they do a lot in our community. We need to recognize them as well and share, what they do as well. So it's great to be able to speak with them.
Yeah, and we just to follow up exactly what you said. Did COVID slow things down? Yeah, it sure made us rethink things and think outside of the box. But as you said, instead of trying to gather 10 people in one room or get people, bust into one area, it's send out a Zoom link or whatever other platform that you're using, and it brings everyone onto the same screen. It's good things can actually come out of bad things, can't they?
Absolutely, and that's what we have to try and do moving forward. Just keep plugging along and keep with it, and know that we are here for the youth in our community. We're here for you.
And that's exactly what we're going to do through this show. Marina Arlovsky, thank you so much for being on here. Officer Mo will catch you again. Folks, it's been great having you. I look forward to seeing you again.